In a previous video, I covered what the different elements are in Warframe. I'll link that in the video description if you need a refresher on that. This video will look at how the basic elements combine together, depending on if they come from mods, abilities, progenitor bonuses, or just the innate damage type of the weapon. There's a strict order to how the elements apply, and messing up that order can ruin your builds or the builds of your allies. So how can you make this system work for you? I'm the engineer, let's solve a practical problem. There are 4 categories of damage types: physical, basic elements, combination elements, and then the miscellaneous types. For this video, the only important ones are the basic and combination elements. The others, like puncture or void damage, do not interfere with this process at all. For most ordinary weapons, when you open up the modding screen, you'll see you'll have no elemental damage and 8 core mod slots to fill up. By putting a basic elemental mod into these slots, you add that element onto your weapon. Adding more of the same element will just increase that element's damage. However, adding more than one basic element will change the damage type you are capable of dealing. This is the basis for elemental combination. The order in which you apply your elemental mods will impact what combination elements are possible. Going from top to bottom, left to right, find the first instance of each basic element. If there is one element, that element is directly applied to your weapon. If there are 2 elements, they combine to form the combination element. 3 elements present will combine the first 2 elements, but the third element will exist on its own. Finally, if all 4 basic elements are present, the first 2 will combine together, and the second 2 will combine together. It doesn't matter if you have repeats of a basic element anywhere in your setup, only the first instance determines the order of elemental combination. The total value of the bonuses, added across the multiple sources, determines how strongly that element is applied. When it comes to just modding, this seems simple enough, and is something that everyone learns pretty early on in playing Warframe as it's so fundamental. What isn't so clear is how all other sources of basic elements are applied. Say you have a cold damage weapon like the Tenet Envoy, with a toxin progenitor bonus, a heat mod, and electricity damage being applied by the shock trooper ability augment. In that case, what damage types are actually going to happen? Well, the resulting damage types are handled by h-cet, standing for heat, cold, electric, and toxin, the priority order of non-modded elements. You can easily remember h-cet with the phrase "Harrow chassis every time," something we all experience from void fishers. h-cet acts like a third row of mods on your weapon. They're not actually mods, but for the purpose of understanding elemental combination, it's as simple and accurate as it gets. For every single source of basic elemental damage on your weapon that isn't a weapon mod, it is added to the respective pool of the h-cet. Then, just like before, the elements are checked from top to bottom, left to right, across the entire weapon. The first instance of each basic element present determines the order, and therefore which ones combine together. How you get the non-modded elements or when they're applied does not matter at all. They always go into these same 4 slots, depending on the element being added. So looking at the Tenet Envoy example, we have cold as an innate damage type, activating the cold part of the h-cet. We have a toxin progenitor bonus, activating the toxin part of the h-cet. We have a heat mod, applying heat in mod slot 1. And then we have an electric bonus from shock trooper, activating the electric part of the h-cet. While shock trooper itself is an augment mod, the mod isn't on the weapon, so it's still considered just part of the h-cet. Looking then at the order these elements appear in, we've got heat, then cold, then electric, and then toxin. Heat combines with cold to form blast, while electric combines with toxin to form corrosive. Our resulting damage type is blast corrosive. As you can see here in the simulacrum, that's exactly what happens. If we instead wanted radiation and viral, we would need to add an electric mod to the weapon. This would then mean that the first 2 elements are now heat and electric, creating radiation, while the other 2 elements come later in the priority, forming viral. The electricity that's present in the h-cet doesn't affect the grouping now, as it's already present earlier on in the system. You can use this to your advantage to change the elements you are using on the fly in a mission. If you have a toxin-based weapon with an electric mod equipped, it will initially deal corrosive damage. If you then activate an ability to add heat damage to your weapon, the heat bonus comes before toxin in the h-cet, meaning the heat and electric combine into radiation and the toxin is left as just toxin. Once the heat bonus wears off, you'll switch back to using pure corrosive damage automatically. If you were to instead use a cold mod, creating viral normally, activating an ability to add electric damage to your build will then merge the cold into the electric for magnetic, once again leaving the toxin on its own. That particular method, for example, would allow you to apply viral, magnetic and toxin procs all with one weapon. If however you wanted to stay with the viral instead of switching to magnetic toxin when you activate the electric ability, you would need to use both a cold and toxin mod on the weapon. Then the electricity bonus would stay on its own, giving you viral electric. It is because of this h-cet that you need to be careful when using abilities which give out basic elements to your allies. Applying radiation through smite infusion or corrosive through venom dose can already be problematic by changing the weighting for status procs. If you apply a heat bonus to someone who is relying on the innate cold and progenitor toxin of their Tenet envoy for viral damage, you'll convert their damage into blast and toxin, with the majority of that being blast. Someone fighting the Grineer this way would be particularly unhappy with you. Rivens also fit into the modding and h-cet priority. If you have just one element on the Riven, it acts like a normal elemental mod. However, if you have 2 or more elements on your Riven, they're kinda treated backwards. The elements are prioritised from the bottom to the top of the mod, as if you rotate the Riven 90 degrees clockwise to figure out which element comes first. For example, on this Vermisplicer Riven, we've got cold showing below heat. The Vermisplicer has innate toxin, so following the h-cet priority, we would get blast and toxin if using just this Riven. Adding electric before the Riven, we see the electric combines with the cold first, creating magnetic, leaving the heat stat to combine with the innate toxin, creating gas. Lastly, it's important to remember that pre-combined elements do not interact with the h-cet at all. So whether it's innate radiation or progenitor magnetic, like on this new core, modded viral like on the Act Bronco Prime, or an ability bonus to corrosive like with Venom Dose, all of them do not interact with the priority for elemental bonuses at all. A compatible basic element will not combine with an existing combination element, and an incompatible basic element will not split up an existing combination element. Through this, it's possible to get 5 combination elements at once, using a blast weapon like the Kuvazar with a magnetic progenitor, gas modding, with radiation from smite infusion, and corrosive from Venom Dose. There's not much reason you'd want to do this, but you can. Also, because you need Saren to do this, technically you can also get pure toxin at the same time, because Toxic Lash ignores h-cet. What, you didn't think I'd make a Warframe video about finding some kind of glaring inconsistency, did you? And so that wraps up on the topic of elemental priority in modding. It's a really simple process once you know where the different parts actually go. Mods come first, everything else just gets pulled together into an invisible third row. And all you have to remember is you get Harrow chassis every time. If you found this video helpful or learned something new, make sure to give it a like and subscribe as well to catch more as it goes live. That's all from me for now though, so as always, arrange mods, combine types, and fight well, Tenno.